song was used in Wayne's World as Garth pelvic thrusted his way to the woman of his dreams while working at Stan Mikita's donut shop? Answer, Foxy Lady. Foxy Lady was released in 1967 from the iconic LP Are You Experienced? It was one of the first songs to ever feature feedback in a song, and also the famous Hendrix chord, which we'll get to in the lesson. Here's 1967, Jimi Hendrix, Foxy Lady. All right, let's talk about that intro. And I'm using a pedal here. You want to be fairly overdriven for this song in general, but because I'm not using my tube amp, I can't, bend down in front of it and get the kind of feedback Hendrix did here, but we can try for this overtone. So what I'm going to ask you to do is take your third finger and put it on the 11th fret of the third string, and also flatten it out so you're getting the 11th fret of the second string. And we're going to pick down with a lot of overdrive and a lot of wiggle on the third string. Now right there you can hear that second string start to sound as I'm wiggling. This is a kind of hard work here. You got to really wiggle the heck out of it. And the second string note will come in there as well. And that takes us into kind of a dive down from the 9th fret. What we want to find here with our first finger is in the first finger I'm suggesting, because it's right there, is find the 9th fret of the 5th string. And that'll take us down to the signature riff, which is coming up next here. So we'll try this one time. Alright, let's get that signature riff down. Alright, Foxy Lady's in the key of F sharp. So after I slide down from that 9th fret, 5th string, I have 3 of those. And what I'm doing there is taking my first finger and fingering the F sharp note, the 2nd fret of the 6th string. I'm going to pick down twice on the 6th string. Slightly muted, by the way. I don't want to have that full ringing. I don't want it ringing like that. I want... So again, I'm using the heel of my hand here to mute that slightly near the bridge. And we get... And the second part of that is the pick up. 2 picks down on the 6th string. And now I'm picking up on the 1st and 2nd strings, and I have my pinky finger across the 1st and 2nd strings at the 5th fret. A little bit of a stretch. You can actually move a little bit on that though if you have to, if it hurts. Okay, that climb up is pretty simple. It's on the open A string. So I'm playing open A, slightly muted again, 2nd, 3rd, 4th frets. Okay, and that's the first part of the intro. Okay, now the second time through I'm going to change it up a little bit here, because what we're doing is we're kind of mixing versions, using a little bit of what Hendrix played live with Foxy Lady. And so we're going to go to the octave note from the F sharp note in the 6th string. We're going to go to the 4th fret of the 4th string, which is the 1 octave higher note of an F sharp. And we're going to use our 3rd finger for that. So watch what I do here. Okay, so the second time through, instead of playing, I start with, which is the 4th fret of the 4th string, and then the same little riff up. And I'm going to play this little run. And that's 2nd fret, 4th string, 4th fret, 5th string, 2nd fret, and back to my F sharp note, 2nd fret, 6th string. So the whole thing. one thing you notice is I'm kind of, when I pick up on that first and second string, I'm kind of pulling off it a little bit, pulling off down, as opposed to just sliding it down. I'm not going all the way down to the 4th fret. And I'm not changing the pitch, I'm just pulling off a little bit. Like that, a little bit. Okay, one last time, really slowly. Well, let's build this song in chunks. So what we'll do is we'll play through that little intro bit, twice through that progression that I showed you, and then 4 times more through it with the vocal added. Here we go.
FOXEY. FOXEY.
You know you're a cute little heartbreaker.
FOXEY.
And you know you're a sweet little love maker.
FOXEY.
Okay, you may have noticed there I didn't find the 9th fret and slide down. I kind of slid up to it. And that's just something I kind of do by habit when I get into a playthrough mode there. That's an option, though. You can slide up from, say, 5 or so, instead of just finding 9 and sliding down. I should tell you that this version of Foxy Lady is sort of a hybrid version from live versions and also from the original studio version. So if you're just counting on this being exactly like the original studio version, and you may go, hey, that's not on my Are You Experienced CD, just keep in mind that it is a little bit of a mixed bag version here. Okay, let's move on. All right, let's deal with this next section of the song that essentially cycles through an F sharp major chord, an open E chord, and then a B chord. But rather than play the B chord each time, we're going to do some riffing that Hendrix does here. So it's going to be F sharp, E, and then something, each of the 3 times we cycle through this, we're going to play something slightly different in place of that B chord. Okay, so this is the part that goes, I wanna take you home, I won't do you no harm, no. You've got to be all mine, all mine. Foxy Lady. And it ends up here with that little riff up there. But let me show you what we're going to do the 3 different times instead of the B chord. That's the first one. Wanna take you home. And all that is just barring the 2nd fret with my 1st finger of the 5, 4, 3, 2 strings, and hammering up with my 3rd finger to the 4th fret of the 5th string. So again, I wanna take you home. Okay, now the 2nd time through, we're going to do that little climb. I won't do you no harm. So that's the same scale up we did before. The open A, the B, the C, and the C sharp. And the 3rd time, got to be all mine, all mine. Okay, and that's same thing, kind of the same thing we just played here, except we're up on the 4th fret, and we're using the 4 and 6th frets. Okay, so it's, and I'm using the 6th fret there at the 4th and 3rd string. Again, I'm barring the 4th fret and hammering with the 3rd finger. And I'm covering 2 strings with the 3rd finger there, the 4th and 3rd strings. ends on the F sharp chord. Okay, so here's that whole bit kind of slowed down. I wanna take you home. I won't do you no harm. You got to be all mine, all mine. Foxy lady. All right, now for that little riff that takes us back into for the second verse, and it's up here on the 16th fret. Okay, so 12, there's our double marker on 12, 15, 16th fret, third string. We're going to bend up, wiggle the 14th fret, and that's the pattern there. And this time we slide down from right where we are. We're going to grab the 16th fret of the 4th string and right back into that. Okay, now if you think back to the intro of the song, at the end of the second chorus, there's a pause and a break, and he foxy lady, and he goes back into the intro. So it's like this. Got to be all mine. Foxy lady. Here I come, baby. Coming to get you. Okay, so you want to go back into that 11th fret, wiggling the 3rd and 2nd strings there to create that effect again, and then back into the main riff. All right, let's talk about the ending of the song. What he does, he goes back to that signature riff, and what he also each time plays the low octave F sharp and then the higher octave F sharp. So he plays it like this. Now he also plays the actual power B chord, or a B5 chord, which is a bar B chord, and we're going to emphasize the 5 and 4 strings. So it's like this. Now the second, what I hear him doing here is the first time he plays it through, he plays the power B. The second time he kind of slides from B to an A. Okay, and when it finishes up just on the B chord. Like that. Let's play through it. All right, I'm going to do my best to sing and play through this ending here. And the way it goes is the first 3 times it's has that little riff in it the first 3 times. On the 4th time, that's where we get into the B. And then we alternate B, B slide to A, B, B slide to A, B. And that's the end of the song. It ends on the B. Okay, let's try it. Oh, foxy lady, yeah, yeah. You look so good, foxy. Oh, yeah. Oh, foxy lady. Yeah, get it. Yes. You make me feel like a really sad. Foxy. Oh, babe. Foxy. Foxy. Lady. Foxy lady. All right, fine tuning for Foxy Lady. Well, a couple things come to mind, and most of them are technique things. You know, we tried this 11th fret with the 3rd and 2nd. And, you know, getting enough wiggle on there and pressure on there to have that that second string note sound out as well. We've got the consistency of the riffs, but also when we got to that B chord during the song, we learned some alternatives for actually playing the B chord, playing some riffing in the key of B, and so we learned that as well. Jimi Hendrix from Are You Experienced? Well, you are a little bit now with Foxy Lady. We'll see you next time on Songman.